Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast. This is another Asian movie collection, addendum video. We're just going to do a handful of Japanese movies today, but one of them is a pretty huge release actually. One that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about online, even though it just came out. But it's a very long-awaited release that I'm excited about. But I got a few other pickups here, just a few. And they are live-action adaptations, yes. And what we have here are two Funimation Blu-ray releases. The first of which are the live-action Death Note movies from Japan from 2006. So this is Death Note and Death Note: The Last Name. And if you're unfamiliar with Death Note, I'll read the back for you. The Death Note, a mysterious notebook that allows the owner to write the name of anyone and thus kill them. When law student Light Yagami becomes the newest owner, he finds himself with the power of God and calls himself Kira. To stop his reign, the police bring in a special agent, the eccentric yet brilliant L. Can this genius detective connect the dots between Light and Kira? And I actually really enjoy the Japanese live-action films from 2006. Now, there were some after that, like, what was it, L Changed the World, which was just terrible. And then the recent Death Note movie that came out like 5 years ago was pretty good, but not as good as these two. I actually think these are two of the more underrated live-action adaptations of manga and or anime. I have read the anime, or the manga. I have it right over there on my shelf, and I've watched the anime twice. So this is a franchise where it's like extremely interesting to think about. You know, even when you're not actually engaged with it, because it's like, okay, there's very specific rules to the Death Note, and you have to work within that rule set in order to use it to its maximum potential, right? And it's a very like cat and mouse game type of thing. And all three sources, like the manga, the anime, and these movies, do a good job of getting into the details, into the cat and mouse game. And it's really interesting to see these guys kind of one-up each other in that chess game to see who wins out in the end. And yeah, I actually think Death Note: The Last Name has a better resolution to the Light versus L conflict than either the manga or the anime. I think it's just a better resolution to the conflict. And, you know, I'm in the minority on that opinion, but I believe it's true. So this is the Region A Blu-ray release. I don't know what special features are on here. It doesn't really say. I've yet to watch these on Blu-ray, but I'm looking forward to it. I do have a Death Note video up that I made like years ago on this channel, where I go through my opinions on the movies and the anime and stuff like that. So, yeah, this is still available, I think. I very much recommend the movies, and I like them very much. But again, I think I'm in the minority in liking them as much as I do. But they're quite good, I think. Definitely better than the American live-action adaptation, for sure. And then we have another good example of a good quality live-action adaptation of a manga or anime, and that is Parasyte, the Japanese movies. Again, another two-movie set. In this one, you basically have a new species appears, seeking hosts to occupy. But one of these small parasitic creatures misses its mark, and in that moment, Shinichi Izumi's life was forever changed. While others were completely taken over by these alien parasites, Shinichi managed to save his brain at the cost of his right hand. With no other option, he must learn to live with Migi, the parasite that failed to overcome him. And while the two manage to coexist together, the other parasites are only interested in one thing: devouring humanity. Now, the extras on this are Japanese trailers and other trailers, and it's the Region A release. Now, these movies are like, I covered these in my Asian horror playlist, and they're technically horror movies with some action kind of mixed in. Very like interesting creature designs in some of them, and they're like you can see on the back. They're like it's weird, like some weird body horror stuff going on in this, and I think the script is pretty good, and I think it has a good story to it as well. Pretty good quality stuff. Now, I do think the anime is superior to the movies, just because the anime just was more, there was more to it. Whereas Death Note, I felt like the movies do a good job of cutting out sections of the story that were the weakest in the manga and the anime, and it just kind of hones it down to like the best of the best type stuff. Whereas Parasyte, it was a little bit more difficult, I think, to hone it down to 2 movies. But they did a very good job in this. And I do have the Parasyte manga that I still haven't read yet, and I've had them for a while, so I gotta crack into those when I can. But if you want like alien type of invasion, horror, action type movies, these are good. And I would actually say that these are similar in some ways to the Venom movies with Tom Hardy. Because, Tom Hardy has like that thing that's inside of him, and they kind of have that internal struggle while they're fighting dudes. And this is quite similar to that, except these movies are far superior to the Venom movies, in my opinion. So if you've seen these, let me know what you think. I think these are surprisingly good, actually. Yeah, check them out. And I also look forward to seeing those on Blu-ray. And maybe what I should do is do some separate reviews of those as well, because I've only covered them in my Asian horror playlist. Alright, here's the big one. Here's the big acquisition of recent weeks. Just got it in the mail today. Yes, just today I got this in the mail. And long time in the making, folks. This is the Arrow release, the Region B Blu-ray release of the Juon Grudge Collection. Now, this does not have all of the Juon movies in it. It's missing some of the recent ones. Like, what was it? Juon the Beginning of the End, Juon the Final Curse, and then Juon Origins are not included in this. But it does have, and this is really important, the original direct-to-video films, Juon the Curse and Juon the Curse 2, as well as, of course, the theatrical films, The Grudge 2, White Ghost, and Black Ghost. And these are all the Japanese films only. It doesn't have the remakes. But this is a huge box set. This is big time, folks. I covered all these movies in my Asian horror playlist. So if you want opinions, you'll know where to look there. Just look for the year of release in there. I think Juon the Curse and the Curse 2 came out in like 2000 maybe. And then Juon the Grudge was 2002. The Grudge 2 was 2003. And then White Ghost, Black Ghost might have been like 2009 or something like that. But yes, obviously these are ghost movies, right? If you're somehow unfamiliar with Juon or The Grudge. These are ghost movies that were, started to come out when the Japanese horror industry started to make some bank internationally, right? And I think the Juon franchise is far more reliable than the Ring franchise, generally speaking. I think the movies are more consistent. I think that generally speaking, they're more entertaining. And, it's a franchise that continues to make entertaining movies, even with their recent releases, in my opinion. But yeah, this is huge. The fact that The Curse and The Curse 2 are on Blu-ray internationally, English-friendly release, I never thought this would happen. I mean, these are movies that you could only find on either bootleg DVDs, Malaysian DVDs, or YouTube. And that's it. No official Western release, I don't think, to my knowledge, has ever been done before on these two. And they're really interesting. I think Juon the Curse is like really good. It's like surprisingly good if you haven't seen it. It has that low budget feel, but like it's real creepy. Tons of background scares involving the ghosts and stuff like that, where like you'll see like a wide shot, and then something will just like pop out of the screen, and then it'll cut and edit away, and it's pretty freaking creepy, dude. It's good stuff. Chiaki Koriyama makes an appearance in one of these as well as Hitomi Miwa. So these are like classics, newer classics, if you count the 2000s as newer. Ju-on the Curse 2 is a downgrade to the original, but it's still watchable. I've grown to enjoy it. And then you have, of course, the theatrical films, The Grudge and The Grudge 2. And, I'm one of the guys that I think Ju-on the Grudge 2 is better than The Grudge. I think it is. I think it's the superior version. They took everything that was good about Ju-on the Grudge, the theatrical film, which is obviously glossier than the Curse movies, and they upped it even more in Ju-on the Grudge 2. I think it's just more interesting to watch. And there's some classic scenes in it. And, this is just good stuff. And I remember back in the day when The Grudge came out, this franchise was so confusing to so many people. Like, I remember in the mid-2000s, because people would mention Ju-on the Curse, and they would get it confused with The Grudge, because, you know what I mean? And it was like, we were all over the place, but we eventually figured it out. There's The Grudge 2 right there. This is a pretty sweet box set. I'm looking forward to watching all of these at some point. I was thinking, maybe next October, I was actually going to do a Ring and Ju-on kind of like ranking list and just rank all the movies head to head. So I might do that next year if I could find the time to rewatch all of them again. And then you get White Ghost and Black Ghost, which are a little bit more violent, surprisingly more violent than some of the other Ju-on films, but still pretty good. But I say in this box set specifically, I think The Curse, The Grudge, and The Grudge 2 are the best 3 films in the box set. So what about the special features? Let's just take a look here. Alright, for The Curse and The Curse 2, you get subtitles and introduction by Takashi Shimizu, introduction by actor Takako Fuji, reversible sleeve, and other artwork. I don't think there's a commentary on The Curse of The Curse 2, which I would have liked to have seen. That's okay, though. And then we get The Grudge and The Grudge 2. Okay, so for The Grudge, we got a lot more special features. Introduction by the director, Takashi Shimizu, a new audio commentary by David Kalat, an archived audio commentary by Sam Raimi and Scott Spiegel. I don't think I've ever heard that commentary before. I think it was on an earlier DVD, and I don't think I had that DVD release. So I'm, having Sam Raimi talk about the movie in a commentary might be pretty interesting. I'm actually looking forward to that. There's a new interview with Shimizu, an interview with Takako Fuji on her role as Kayako, a bunch of special features and archival reviews and stuff. Megumi Okina interviews, behind the scenes, all kinds of stuff. So this one is pretty loaded. Then you got Ju-on the Grudge 2, introduction by Shimizu, new audio commentary by Rachel Dumas and Jasper Sharp. That should be good. Jasper Sharp is one of those Midnight Eye guys who's very informative, but I tend to disagree with their opinions on Japanese horror movies. So if I dislike the commentary enough, maybe I'll do a separate review on it. But they're usually pretty behaved in their commentaries. More interviews, behind the scenes, 55 minutes of behind the scenes footage. I mean, it's pretty good stuff here. And they have some reversible sleeves in here as well. And then we get White Ghost, Black Ghost. An introduction by Maria Sato. A new interview with the director, Maria Sato. Shimizu didn't direct these, I don't think. And then reversible sleeves and stuff. So, looks like they packed most of the special features on the Grudge films, but still, having all the films up to 2009 in one box set, Blu-ray, is really huge. It's big time. And then you get a little poster here, and then you get a booklet, a nice quality booklet for Ju-on. The booklet is about 60 pages long. You get cast and crew, a Fear Factory write-up, the relentless longevity of Ju-on, The J-Horror Journey by Tom Mess. Oh, no. That's a 12-page write-up. And I can almost guarantee I'm not going to agree with anything he says in this write-up. I might have to do a video on this. If these guys say what I think they're going to say, I have to do a video. True Ghost Stories in the History of J-Horror. Terror Runs in the Family. Kayako and Toshio and other stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's good stuff. Yeah. You know how I get, if you haven't seen my video, my older video on the death of J-Horror, how everyone got it wrong, that's like a pet peeve of mine, folks. It's, I'm very demanding on people's, observations on Japanese horror, because a lot of people just, write it off, and it really irritates me. So check out that video if you haven't already. The Death of J-Horror on my channel. Yes. This is a good release, man. I'm definitely excited to check this out. Good number of special features, some of which I haven't seen on, the prior DVDs. And, pick this up. If you don't have it, this is totally worth a purchase, I'm sure. And remember, there's a Ring release. I think, did Arrow release the Ring release? I think they did on Blu-ray a few years ago, and that's a good release, too. So it's nice that we finally got a Juon box set, and so we have that now. Yes, so it's a nice, smaller haul today, but some pretty huge pickups. And, yeah, let me know what you think of any of these films, if you've seen them. And as always, folks, I will see you next time.